I was taking my phone case off.
Back to the Cage Walk Pass podcast with Caleb, presented by OddSmoker MMA. Tonight I have Nasty Nate Hamblin here with me. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. How you doing today?
Doing all right. I'm so glad to have you on.
Pleasure to be here for real.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Let's start off with where what got you into MMA. If what part of your life that really just came out and said, "I want to do MMA."
Ah, my brother got into it when I was really young after my mom had passed away, and I went and trained with him a handful of times and got my hand into it, I guess. And then shortly after I got old enough to drive and stuff, I got back into it and took my first fight like a year after I could start driving. And I fought a guy named Bryce Warner, who is now about to be pro. He just had one of the biggest fights in amateur fight history against Alex Holm from England. Shout out to him, he won. Uh, but when I fought him, I took that fight on like 4 days' notice and went through a terrible weight cut. I mean, a terrible weight cut because it was at 125, which is where I usually fight at, but I was slightly heavy. Just took it on a whim and didn't get the didn't get the nod on that one. But after that, I decided that I was going to start taking it serious, and I started training more often, and I got very, very serious with my training. Started actually going to the gym more than 3 or 4 days a week. Was doing 2 a day sessions. Was trying to get my meal right. Trying to do working out more, running more, the whole 9 yards. Working out with more than just my regular coach, was traveling and training and stuff, and that's when I really started to take the sport seriously. Then I took another hiatus because I was having a baby, and
Congratulations.
then yeah, took a hiatus, and then last minute took that last fight that I had, and that's pretty much the rundown of my MMA career. It's only been 4 fights, but I've been training on and off for I guess almost 10 years now, 10, 11 years.
First, I want to say I'm very sorry to hear about your mom. Um,
No, I mean I appreciate that, but I don't really know. Ain't nothing.
I'm good. So let me jump in. You're a new dad for those who don't, know you. I do know Nate. I have the honor of sponsoring Nate. So I do know he's a new dad. Yes, that would be a shirt that we did create for him. I love that you're wearing it. Um, so what? How is it being a father? This is
Oh,
your so
I love it. It's an amazing experience. Granted, I don't get to be the. I have to work all the time and stuff, and then now I'm trying to get back into the gym, so it's even more time away. But I love it every second of it. I mean, it's the most amazing thing ever, and that's coming from somebody who thought they never wanted kids.
kids definitely change your life.
Oh
So
yeah, 110%. I mean,
Nate,
it's the most humbling experience in the world, I guess you could say. But I mean, it's also the most amazing thing in the world.
yes, especially watching them grow. You've got to meet my little one, who's obviously older than your than yours. So you get to get a little snippet of what it'll be like when he gets older.
Yeah, my niece and nephew actually just left the house. I'm like, oh goodness, if my son's anything like them, I'm screwed.
Because working a lot and also training, so not being able to see your family as much. What is that work life MMA balance like for you, and how does that impact your training for fights?
Well, like I said, I've been on like a hiatus since I kind of took my last fight and then made a little dash for a little bit because I wanted to be able to be a good dad because that's my main priority over anything. And so I'm just now starting to get back into getting into the gym and stuff and trying to get my scheduling right. But when I was working prior and was getting ready for my fight, I would just kind of schedule my training sessions around my work scheduling, and then I was lucky enough to have good management to where I was able to take time off and get myself situated and have a good healthy weight cut training and everything like that, and still was able to work and stuff. Now it's a little bit more hectic because we're working more hours. I'm at a different job site and stuff, but we'll see how it goes. But we make it work. Usually we try to find people that if we can't get into a gym, I have so many people that do just solo training and stuff at independent gyms around here. I mean, I guess not independent, but I guess I would be the person that's not with them, but I go to their gyms and stuff and go train with them, and I make it work.
Good. That's what you have to do. I know, knowing you, you're very serious about your MMA career, and I know you want to just keep building and get to that highest level. So
Oh
stay.
yeah. Oh yeah, 110%. Speaking of that, uh when I do get ready to come back, probably towards the later part of the year, I'm looking forward to maybe hopping on maybe a Gogi's last card of the year after I defend my belt. Maybe getting in their pool and seeing if I can't win their belt soon. Put their 125 on notice, and then a couple other big fights that I want to be taking soon.
Yogi's a great fight. I've had,
I
going to one of their fights, and they put on a great show.
I love a Gogi. I was supposed to fight for them. I think it was like 2 years ago, and unfortunately, things happened, and my opponent had to pull out, but I was contemplating pulling out. So I mean, it was just kind of fortunate that the fight didn't happen. It was just a bad timing for both of us, really. But it was unfortunate because I have always wanted to get on the Agogi platform.
Going back after you say something about a title, you are only 4 fights in your career, and you already have a title.
Oh yeah, that was the last second fight. Kinda, I took that fight on like 4 weeks' notice. I'm notorious for that. Very notorious for taking last second fights. Almost half the fights in my career are within 4 weeks' notice, and I took that off the couch. It was in my hiatus. I was taking time off to prepare to be a dad and stuff, and it kind of got presented to me. And I threw a month training camp together and I mean, it wasn't a terrible weight cut. It was actually a pretty healthy weight cut because I was not at a bad weight. But most of my fight camp for that fight was cutting weight because I wanted to make sure that I did it healthily so I could go into the fight healthy and not just drained and malnourished and stuff. So I took that fight 4 weeks notice, and we got a first round TKO over. I think he was ranked number 9 in the state. Jared Hargrove. He was a pretty game opponent. Uh, I mean, he was. I mean, he's a very strong kid. I literally had to make the ref stop the fight because he was trying to power through, but I mean, I was just there was nothing he could do. I hit him almost 50 times unresponsive. All he could do was turn his head, and when it came to him turning his head, I was hitting him in the back of the head so many times and trying not to, but he just kept turning his head into my shots. And so I told the ref, I was like, I'm gonna hurt this kid, and he stopped the fight.
Yeah. I did get watch that fight, and yeah, I mean, you went in there looking great. Didn't look hesitant or at all. So I want to ask you, going into that fight, knowing it's a title shot, and only having 4 weeks of camp, what was going through your head? Uh, were
Um,
you kind of nervous? Were you going in confident, like you knew that I got this? Because sometimes people go in and they're like camp was so short, I didn't I'm a little nervous, or did you think I'm going this and I'm getting that belt?
camp and everything, or camp. I don't know why I said camp. It Throughout camp and stuff, I was very confident in myself. The only time that I got nervous at all was right before I walked out, and it was because I got my hands wrapped like 10 minutes before I was supposed to fight. I was supposed to be hitting mitts and stuff, had no time to warm up. Literally got like 2 minutes on the mitts, had to get my hand wrap signed off on, and so I was just no warm up. my nerves were at an all-time high because like you said, it was 4 weeks notice, and I was like, wow, this kid's been training since September, or not September. He's been training since like March of this year for this fight. He was supposed to fight my good friend Michael Fairhurst, Lispy boy. And unfortunately Michael just had some stuff where he couldn't make the fight, and so I took it. And I was like, yeah, I was so confident. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna crush this dude. I'm gonna crush this dude. And then right as I go to walk out, I was just almost sick to my stomach. I was like, what if I go out there and get beat up? And I guess every fighter has that thought at least once or twice, but I never had that thought until I went to go walk out to the cage, and I was like, whoa. But as soon as I get in, every time, I mean, just to get rid of all my pre-fight jitters when I get into the cage, it's like a signature stomp. I jump as high as I can in the air and I stomp on the cage. And once I did that, I knew it was just game time. It was time to fight.
Well, I am glad that fight away. That is for sure. And if viewers who haven't seen it, definitely go check it out. It was a great fight to watch. Um, let's see. Um, I'm sorry, I totally lost my question.
No, you're fine.
I know you want to go and do that title fight again, and then get on a gogi. What ed, what is your end goal? What do you want for your MMA career?
Um, I want some lucrative deals when I decide to go pro. So I wanna gain some more experience in the amateur ranks. You know, I wanna once I get myself in shape, make sure everything's going good. I want to win numerous titles as an amateur. I want to look like my boy Keaston McLean, have 5 belts under my name as an amateur before I go pro. I mean, that dude, he's about to set the pro world on fire next month. And I'm trying to make sure that my amateur career looks like that, so I'm somebody that they can't say no to when I make my pro debut. But my end goal is obviously everyone wants to go to the UFC.
Mhm.
If I can make it there, I mean, I believe in myself wholeheartedly, but that's where I want to be. But any good pro organization, whether it be Bare Knuckle Fight Club or BYB, the where Willie Kaler fights at, one of my other good training or buddies and training partners. Any good pro organization to where I actually make good money for doing what I do for fun that I can provide for my family, I would love.
That's a good answer. I mean, it wasn't just straight the UFC. Like that there's also other options, and you just want to do that. Provide for your family, but get it to a higher level. So that's
Well, I mean, everyone's end goal is the UFC. I mean, like if I were ever offered a fight in the UFC, even if they offered me something out of my weight class and offered it to me right now, I would be starstruck enough to take it. But I would fight in any pro organization. I want to start getting paid for what I'm good at.
oh yeah, and I think everybody does. That's for sure.
Yeah, 110%. I mean, I know I've still got some work to do, especially coming off of a long layoff. I mean, I've been to the gym a handful of times since I won this belt, but when I do get back into my regular routine and stuff, I'm ready to set the 125 division on notice again. I'm ready to climb the rankings again in numerous states and assert my name.
That's awesome. So I have one more question for you. You're 4 foot 10, but you've been training for a long time. For someone who's new to MMA, to training, what is one piece of advice you would give them?
For people that are new, don't be afraid to go in, but don't go in thinking that you know anything really. I mean, unless you've dabbled it in as a kid, you know. But mixed martial arts is a whole different ball game from any other combat sport because it's all combat sports, or it's most of your combat sports combined. You know, you got jujitsu, wrestling, boxing, Muay Thai. You know, there's so many different things that go into it, so it's not just one dimensional. And so don't go in there if you're new to the mixed martial arts realm thinking that you are going to go in there and shock everybody there because you know how to throw a right hand. Because if you go in there expecting to be able to beat people up, people are going to try to beat you up too. I see it happen way too much, especially in, you know, like gyms that aren't very well established in higher organizations. You go into a smaller gym and you get a kid that comes in and he has no idea what he's doing, but he wants to fight hard, and one of them guys that knows what they're doing go out there and beat the crap out of him because he's trying to hit way too hard for somebody who has no idea what they're doing.
That is some great advice right there. Um, is there anything else you would like to say or add or anything?
Uh, just shout out to all my training partners that have fights coming up. Willie Kaler's fighting on the BYB series May 31st, if I'm not mistaken. My buddy Keaston McLean's fighting next month. I don't know what day, but I'm excited for that one. Michael Fairhurst and Jamie Lloyd are fighting April 19th. If y'all aren't, if anyone from around my area is around, go watch the Rival FC. Go watch my buddy Michael Fairhurst and my other good friend Jamie fight for the 125 state kickboxing title. I mean, there's just a lot of good fights on that card, and almost every single fight on that card is somebody that I train with on a regular basis. So shout out to all of them.
Nate, where can our viewers find you?
Find me. I have Instagram, and I mean, I guess that's really it. It's Nasty Nate MMA, and my TikTok is Nasty Nate MMA as well. But I don't really use TikTok. Instagram is about the only social media that I have. And then, of course, my Facebook. It's Nate Hamblin. Y'all feel free to find me on there as well.
All right. Any other shout outs that you'd like to do before we end this?
No, not that I can think of. Thank you so much.
Well, Nasty Nate Hamblin, thank you so much for joining me. Um, as I say, on my podcast, you can find me at OddSmokerMMA on both Facebook and Instagram. And Nate, it has been a pleasure, and I'm so excited to see you get back in that cage after a break and
Next
get
time you
that.
see me, I might have a couple belts
I hope.
instead of just this one.
Oh, look at that. That's a pretty belt right there.
Yeah, it is.
Well, you have a fantastic evening, and I look forward to talking to you again.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.